I can compare fractions close to the whole. Before I talk about this learning target, let's review how we compare. When we compare, we use greater than, less than, or equal to. For example, 532 is less than 587 because you have 30 versus 80, and 80 is the bigger number. Or 587 is greater than 532. Also, 17 over 1 equals 17 because 17 wholes is the same as just 17. Now, fractions close to the whole. For the purpose of what I want you to know, there is 5 of them you need to know. What they are, though, is fractions close to 1 are just one piece from the whole. So if you have halves, 1/2 means that there's one blank piece. 2/3 means that there's 1/3 that we're not counting. 3/4 means that there's 1/4 that isn't shaded in. They're one piece away from being the whole thing. 5/6 and 7/8. These are the 5 I want you to know because later in the video I'm going to give you a strategy just to memorize how to order these, which is going to help you meet your learning target of comparing fractions close to the whole. But I will also teach you a strategy that will help you compare any two fractions that are one piece from the whole. Remember, the bigger the denominator, the smaller the piece. So like, look at how big this 1/2 is compared to like a single eighth. When that denominator goes from 2 to 8, the little pieces get smaller. Let's now compare 1/2 to 7/8. Here's 1/2, here's 7/8. It's pretty much the same whole. You can see the 7/8 clearly has more shaded in. And then on a number line between 0 and 1, here's 1/2, here's 7/8. Well, 7/8 is further to the right. 7/8 is closer to 1. The reason that that's true is because 1/8 that's left is a lot smaller than the whole half that's left. So this number here is much closer to being the whole, whereas this is further away, has more area to fill in. 1/2 is less than 7/8. That's because the 1/8 needed to equal 1 makes 7/8 closer to 1. You're closer to 1, you're a bigger fraction. 2/3 and 5/6. Here's 2/3 with 1/3 not filled in, and here's 5/6 with 1/6 not filled in. Again, you can see the 1/6 is smaller than the 2/3 left. I mean, this one's actually going to end up closer to 1, and you can kind of see that this has more space shaded than this one. On a number line between 0 and 1, here's 2/3, here's 5/6. 5/6 is further to the right, so it is the larger fraction. 2/3 is less than 5/6 because thirds are larger than 6. 2/3 is further from 1. Different way to think about it. This is further away from being whole than just this much. If I'm this much away versus just a 1/6. So consider that. Alright, so up here is a list of fractions close to 1, and they're just kind of listed in order. 1/2 is less than 2/3, is less than 3/4, is less than 5/6, is less than 7/8. If you can memorize this and then just use it, it'll help you compare any two fractions that are close to the whole, or one piece away. What I want you to do is pause the video and try to correctly compare these using greater than, less than, or equal to. Then hit play, and I'll explain how you would compare these three sets of fractions. Alright, the first one is 2/3 and 3/4. Now 2/3 is here and 3/4 is here, and you can clearly see 2/3 is less than 3/4. So this is kind of simple just looking because it's right here in our chart. And also think that 1/3 is a larger distance away from 1 than 1/4. So this is going to be your bigger fraction, closer to 1. 7/8 and 3/4. You see 7/8 is the biggest one of them all, so you know it's going to be greater than 3/4, which is here. Also think that 1/8 is only a little piece between 7/8 and a whole, and 3/4 is a bigger piece with a whole 1/4 to get there. 5/6 and 1/2. Here is 5/6, here is 1/2. So you can see 5/6 is going to be greater than 1/2. It's closer to 1 whole. Another little tip here is when you notice both fractions are 1 unit or 1 piece away from the whole, like 1/2 is 1/2 away from 2/2, and 5/6 is 1/6 away from 6/6. the larger denominator is going to end up being the larger fraction. Same with 7/8 and 3/4. 1/8 away, 1/4 away, 8's the greater than 4. 2/3 and 3/4 is 1/3, 1/4 away. The fourths are greater than thirds. I can compare fractions close to the whole. So what I want you to do is compare these three sets of fractions using greater than, less than, or equal to.